Namaste. The Electoral College confirmed the victory of Mr. Joe Biden as 46th President of America. That was on 14th December. He got clear majority in the Electoral College. He got 306 votes against 232 of Donald Trump. 74 electoral votes more than Donald Trump. These 306 electoral votes out of 538 constitute 56.9% of the votes, whereas Donald Trump's 232 account for 43.1%, 13.8% less than Joe Biden. And also in the popular vote, Joe Biden got 51.3%, 4.4% more than Donald Trump's 46.9%. So clearly, both in the electoral votes and in the popular votes, Joe Biden got decent margin. But unfortunately, Donald Trump and his close associates, some of his close associates, are not wholeheartedly accepting their defeat. There are indications that they might rake up the issue on 6th January when the joint session of the American Congress, that is American Parliament, takes up formal counting of the votes. Donald Trump's associates might claiming electoral frauds and rigging in some states. This stand they had been taking regularly, and they took to the courts also, and no evidence was found in support of their claim that there was any electoral fraud in any state or any rigging. But still, Donald Trump is not happy. It is not that he got popular support, although he lost in the Electoral College votes. That didn't happen. In popular votes, he got only 46.9% against Joe Biden's 51.3%. In fact, Donald Trump did not get popular support in 2016 election. That time he got no doubt 306 electoral votes, notwithstanding a couple of faithless votes to him, some 5 or so to his rival Miss Hillary Clinton. Of course, those things didn't change the situation, because he got a clear majority as Joe Biden got now in 2016 electoral votes. But in popular votes, what Donald Trump that year got 45.9%, 2.1% less than Hillary Clinton's 48%. So he did not have popular support, but yet he won because the electoral votes. Then what is this confusion? Whatever be the claims, what is going to happen on 6th January? Before that, let me give you a brief account of the electoral system of the United States of America, how the president is elected. What is this Electoral College and popular votes? Why the discrepancy between in terms of the percentages? As per Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the American Constitution, the number of electors of each state are decided. The number in each state is equal to the number of congressional delegation, members of House of Representatives. There is a bicameral legislature, the American Parliament, what we call the Congress there. So it comprises House of Representatives and Senate. number of members of House of Representatives and the senators from the given state. That is the number of electors that the people are supposed to vote. Though it is direct election, president is directly elected, but people do not directly vote to the president. They vote to an elector. So electors are elected in each state, and the number of electors are equal to the number of congressional representatives from the given state. Then it's not like the contenders from both the parties, Republican, Democratic, winning electoral seats depending on the votes they get, different constituencies or congressional district. It's not like that. Whoever or whichever party gets maximum votes gets all the electoral votes of the state. The rule is winner of the plurality. Winner takes all. 50 states and DC. But there is an exception. 2 states do not follow this rule. I will detail you about these 2 states, Maine and Nebraska, later. Other than these 2, 48 states follow this rule that whoever wins the majority takes all the electoral votes. To be clearer, let us take the examples of 2 states, Arizona and North Carolina, to understand how the electoral seats are allotted to the candidates. In Arizona, Joe Biden got 49.4% of the votes. That is 1.67 million votes. Then Donald Trump got 1.66 million, which equals to 49.1%. Then the gap between the 2 is 10,457 votes, equal to just 0.3%. But Joe Biden won majority votes, although with 0.3% difference, he got all the 11 electoral votes. Similarly, in North Carolina, Trump polled 2.75 million votes against Joe Biden's 2.68 million. The difference was 74,481. In terms of percentage, Trump got 49.9% and Joe Biden 48.6%. Although it was 1.3% here, Trump got all the 15 electoral votes. So this is how the electoral votes go to the majority. I said this is the practice in 48 of 50 states. The remaining 2 states, in Maine and Nebraska, the system is different. Whoever wins the congressional district gets the electoral votes, and whoever gets majority in the states gets the rest of the electoral votes. In Maine, we have 4 electoral votes. Now Republican got with 44% of popular vote 1 elector, and Democrats 3 electors because they won 53.1% of votes polled in the state. Similarly, in Nebraska, Trump bagged 4 electoral votes, winning 58.2% of the votes polled there in the state, and Biden got 1 vote with 39.2. If the norm of the other states were followed in these states too, Republicans would have got all the 5 votes in Nebraska, and the Democrats all the 4 votes in Maine. So this understood that the election system in the United States of America is such that the winner of the popular votes in entire nation need not necessarily be the winner of the elections. Now, what's going to happen on 6th January? On 6th January, the joint session of the Congress, presided over by the Vice President Mike Pence, will meet at 1 p.m. and then formally the counting of votes takes place. The sealed certificates submitted by all the states are opened and the tellers are given these votes and they are asked to count the votes and confirm them formally. In normal circumstances, it would take not more than 30 minutes or 1 hour. But this time, if there are objections, and objections in writing, then the joint session once again has to split into individual sessions. Then the two chambers of the Congress have to meet separately and then consider the objection, either to uphold or reject the objection. What will happen this time? In the House of Representatives, Democrats have clear majority and there is no problem insofar as House of Representatives are concerned. Then in the Senate, this is something tricky. Who will control the Senate? The special election of Georgia on January will decide the final stance of Democrats and Republicans. Supposing even these two senator constituencies are won by the Democrats, then the Democrats' strength and the Republican strength would be equal 50-50%. When such a situation arises, what will happen? The Vice President has to cast his tie-breaking vote. But this looks to be unlikely because the Republican leaders are not supporting the idea of some to object or raise the issue of electoral fraud or rigging. Now, before concluding, will there be any market change with the change of incumbency? Joe Biden, the Democrat, taking office. Undoubtedly, Democratic Party is a liberal political party and Republican is conservative. But both are part of a system which are not very much different in their broad ideology. So we can't expect any revolutionary changes. And the changes that would come if persons like Bernie Sanders wins. Yet there will be some changes. The policies of the liberal political party, Democrats, will be different in the area of civil rights, immigration, health care, climate change and the like. They are better than the Republicans. And Republicans would have preferred lower taxes for higher brackets of income, and their perception on gun rights, then they would have had tighter restrictions on immigration and the like. So there will be change, all right, but is that going to be an irreversible change? Can't be guaranteed because we cannot expect total change, yet change that is welcome change. Reverting to the American presidential elections, as all the confusion shows, there are anomalies. There should be reforms. Firstly, because the winner takes all makes the votes of the opponent insignificant. The elections do not reflect the people's will, as it did during President Trump's time. Then the number of electors from each state is also anomalous because congressional seats, all right, because each state has different number of varied number of representatives depending upon the size of the state. Insofar as senators are concerned, same 2 representatives from each state without regard to the size of the state, big or small. This is an anomalous situation. Let's hope the American government will seriously think on the electoral reforms to make them more reflective of the people's will in the president and vice presidential elections. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Please click on that subscribe button below the video. After that, you will see the bell icon. Please click on the bell icon too to get the notifications as and when I upload a video to the channel. Thank you.